Hello, everyone, to yet another episode of the Code and Coffee Show. Today, we will discuss a bit about maybe not code directly, but about content and coffee, of course, with Ania Kubow. Ania is a software developer and course creator for her own YouTube channel and codewithania.com. She also dedicates her free time to the nonprofit FreeCodeCamp. Did I miss something? Because when I see you on social media, you are constantly doing something with I see that you're constantly changing languages. You are so. What are you working on right now?
Yeah, so that's a great question. As you say, I do primarily make content for my own YouTube channel, as well as now, as of January, actually, so super recently, I've been making courses for so many companies. I make courses for Amazon, for Microsoft, made many courses for FreeCodeCamp, the nonprofit FreeCodeCamp. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. It's a nonprofit that I dedicate my time to 2 or 3 days a week. So I was like, hey, I made all these courses. Why not make my own? So that is something that I did recently. It's a full stack developer course on which I provide tutorials, interactive projects that we kind of do together. And then there's also a Discord channel where we have weekly calls, usually like on a Thursday and Friday. So it's more of a community, and it's something that I've really enjoyed doing. Definitely check it out. And yeah, if you want to join, just hit me up, or you can go via the website directly. So that is stuff that I've been working on. And I'm currently in South Africa. So I would show you out the window, but if I move anything, I'm scared that it will get so I'm not going to. But Cape Town is amazing, and I would definitely recommend it for anyone who has not. It's actually how I got this scar as well, but we'll talk about that another time.
And tell me, are you a coffee person?
I love coffee. I am the biggest coffee fan. Yes. What would you like to know?
So what is your favorite type? Everything, details.
Every single coffee in the world. Do you know what? I went through a real stage of just going for like the normal cappuccino, like, no sugar, like just straight up cappuccino. And then recently I have discovered, I don't know whether it's just the places I've been, but a Spanish latte, and they are delicious, but the amount of sugar in them, I don't even want to know. Like, I drink it and I'm caffeinated, and I've got so much sugar inside me that I'm like scared I'm going to explode. But taste-wise, it's great. Maybe try drinking a decaf one. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just back from Spain, and I must tell that the coffee was one of the few things that kind of disappointed me there. They really overheat the coffee. Really, at most of the taverns, of the bars, yeah. But at Malaga, I found few really nice specialty roasteries that really did an amazing job. So really, this was the first time when I saw that the owner of a roastery even brought a map with herself to show me directly, like pointed where is the coffee plantation and why it's the best coffee in the whole Colombia. The answer was simple, because she was born nearby, so that's why this is the best region where the Colombian coffee is. But still, no one before showed me a map and exactly showed me all and told everything about the plantation, just because I got myself one filtered coffee. So this was a really amazing experience. And like right now with me, I have this nice Guatemala and Honduras blend. It's a Valentine's edition by Heresy, and they decided to add this quite juvenile joke. The coffee costed 69 zlotys. Valentine edition. So yeah. And I'm guessing that right now you don't have coffee with yourself, right?
You know what? No, I had it in the other room. I left it there. So I wish I could pretend. I did have a night. I just made a coffee as well, but now it's going cold in another room. But I'm not going to leave you guys to get it. So I'm just going to pretend. Placebo effect, drink caffeine.
And which coffee do you have in the other room?
it was an espresso kind of machine. I don't know what the capsule was because I kind of just grabbed one. But there's the house that I'm staying at the moment. There's like an espresso machine that we all share. So that kind. But hey, I'm also partial to a quick instant coffee. Don't judge me. It's quick. So what it does coffee.
I fully understand. There are situations that you are more for the caffeine than the whole experience and yeah. Okay, so it's really nice to know that you are another coffee person during this show, because we had one tea drinker already, but she was amazing. So yeah. So before we'll continue running shows like this. Takes a bit of money, so the next 10 seconds are on our sponsor, Kinsta.
Kinsta's application hosting simplifies the work of modern web developers. With just a few steps to get your app up and running with performance backed by the fastest Google C2 machines, Kinsta has built a development platform designed to get your applications in front of users as quick as possible. Test Kinsta's application hosting for yourself at kinsta.com. The first $20 are on us.
And we are back. Thank you, Kinsta, for kindly sponsoring this show. So let's start with the most important and quite general question, but why every developer should create content?
Personally, for me, I think that creating content has been such a massive help in my own journey as a software developer. I used to work for Eurostar. I don't know how many people are based out of Europe that will be familiar with Eurostar, but it's a train company that runs mainly from London to Paris, but now other destinations like Brussels and so on. So in my job there, if you haven't worked as a software developer before, you are sometimes required to talk either to people who are not in the coding sphere or people who are in the coding sphere. So coders and non-coders. And talking to non-coders and coders can be difficult for many reasons. For example, conveying something to someone who doesn't know anything about coding is difficult for one reason, but also talking technically can be hard. And by doing these videos that I do, I mainly, create tutorials and I have to explain what I'm doing, has really improved my technical speak and jargon, and talking about why this happens, then this happens confidently, which actually, until you start doing it, you don't realize how much of a challenge that could be. So through kind of, at first I'd be like, now we're going to do this, but not really explain why we're doing it or how it connects to something else. And now I'm always thinking about, why are we doing this? Explain why we're doing something. So that is something I think I picked up from content creation, just people probing me, being like, yeah, but why? So now that's something that's like instinctively in my head. And I think if more developers kind of, explain stuff in that way, then it could make everyone's lives a little bit easier, or just in general, propel them into a more senior role in the workspace, maybe a little bit quicker. I don't know. But all the best tech leads and so on have really been able to explain why something is happening and why we're doing something to a team, not just the developers, also product managers, and business development guys and girls and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, because it's even very easy to recognize who isn't creating content when you hear such a person. I mean, very often, especially when we talk about senior developers who have really huge knowledge, and when they start talking, they want to tell you everything, how they did it, but as you mentioned, they very often forget about this. But why did you did it? Why did you went this way? It's really easy to recognize, and also kind of the style they are talking. It's much more chaotic. It's really to recognize, and yes, and creating especially video content helps to train yourself. And do you think that writing articles or other types of content is also valuable, or do you think that videos give the biggest training, the biggest push?
So I actually, even though I didn't do this, I went straight into the video creation, of course, trial and error, and now found my kind of voice and teaching style. For anyone who is just kind of starting out and would like to kind of practice and would kind of like, there's many reasons for all developers to start engaging with creating content online, and we'll go into that later. But I would actually suggest for anyone starting out to write articles first, because it gives you the opportunity to filter yourself, to really think about your answer, to Google how you would explain something the best way, to give analogies, right? To not just say, you know, to try like compare something to something else as an alternative to just sticking with the technical jargon, to really kind of paint a picture of why something's going on. So starting out with writing articles is definitely something that I would recommend. Creating blogs, contributing to like DevTO. They haven't sponsored me to say that, but it's the first one I thought of. Contribute to like resources like that, or even just quick tweets if you want to get started, I think is great. And then once you kind of like found your voice for one, and have developed a style of explaining and talking, then perhaps graduate to creating videos, creating shorts, anything like that. Of course, that's not like a strict rule. That is just what I would probably do in hindsight rather than going straight into videos. But that doesn't mean that I'm right. Like, it's whatever is right for you.
Also, you mentioned tweets, and to be honest, tweets are really amazing to learn how to write shorter, because this is very often the problem that writers have. They want to like write about everything. It's very often a problem when to stop. And Twitter, with its quite strict limitation, really helps you to learn how to write shorter, more concise, and only on the topic you want to write. So this is, at least for me, it was one of the best trainings. And also, I think that when someone will write an article, they can later on transform it into a video. I mean, right now it's one of the best methods of, write a tweet, then convert it to an article, then convert it to a video. And in the end, after a few articles, you have even a whole course or whatever, because I think that thinking the topic is right now much more difficult rather than creating the thing, because at some point it becomes much easier. And on the other hand, how would you say what developers that don't create their own content, what they are missing, apart from what we already discussed? So that they don't very often know how to speak better, how to explain better, but what are they also missing?
Yes, so I really strongly recommend that every software developer does have some kind of online presence. We are just in that day and age, whether you like it or hate it, if you don't kind of keep up with this trend, you're just going to get left behind, right? So having an online presence, of course, it can be like more strictly curated with the articles. Maybe you want to publish a book, something like that, or it can be more free-flowing, which is, for obvious reasons, maybe a little bit more dangerous. But again, it's whatever your personal style is just creating like an online brand, right? And who doesn't want to, when it comes to being approached by recruiters, or you're trying to go for a big company, you don't want to be chasing these big companies. You want the big companies to chase you. So by having an online presence, by becoming a thought leader, you're already kind of showing your knowledge without having to, I'm not saying beg for a job, obviously we're begging for jobs, but you're kind of demonstrating who you are, that you're confident, that you can speak confidently, you're showing your achievements, you're showing what you can do. Whether that's a very junior graduate developer who's just made this amazing project, wants to share it with the world, or whether you're really senior, I think that applies to everyone. It's just putting yourself in a stronger position, to be honest. Really kind of differentiating yourself from everyone, really kind of showing who you are online. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is, oh gosh, I touched on it and I forgot about it. Yeah, if you're a graduate developer, so if there's any like newbies on here and you're just starting out, you're like, oh no, I don't want to put my work out there, like it's not good enough. It is good enough, because the best thing about this is I think out of any community in the world, the software developer community is the kindest from what I have seen, and they're always willing to help. So if you're just honest and be like, hey, I just made this really cool project, I'm not sure about this. I get like so many pull requests a day of people being like, hey, I think this would be cool. Do you know what I mean? And people just genuinely willing and wanting to contribute to stuff. So if you go out there and you're like, hey, I made this, what do you guys think? No one, like, I mean, of course you'll get some bad players, but you just have to remember they're just angry about other reasons. But on the most part, I think people are really willing to help, wanting to see you succeed, and wanting to kind of input what they know onto you as well. So, and in that case, you kind of have a project, and you also don't just have one mentor, you have like the whole internet as like mini mentors in a way, to try and impart knowledge onto you for you to learn and grow and receive constructive feedback, hopefully constructive feedback.
That's I totally agree with you that really open source, and yeah, because writing documentation, writing code for open source project is also kind of creating your content. It really helps you build the brand, and it's kind of all about it, because in our life probably we will change the company we work at multiple times, but our name in most cases it's the same for our whole life. So really investing in our personal brand in some way, and really open source is really amazing. I also remember, for example, one project in the WordPress space, and there was this one amazing guy called Lucas, who's really one of the best person when it comes to writing documentation. No one ever helped me in writing documentation as he did. He always just documented everything as he went. I mean, really amazing thing. And when we are talking about different forms of content, we already touched on the fact that we can think about articles, about videos, but do you think right now it's better to create some longer forms or shorter ones? Because we have so many possibilities, and it's very often difficult to know how to start.
Yes, so there are positives and negatives to both. At the moment, short form content is having a huge moment, and I feel like all the platforms are really pushing it ever since TikTok. Instagram's pushing Reels, YouTube's even developed Shorts and attempting to push that too, which is great because it can make you have a larger following quickly. The impressions and views are certainly there. So that is something, if you want to grow quickly, definitely focus on that. Longer form, for example, YouTube videos, what I do, the positive of that is that they are evergreen, meaning that they will last forever. Google's SEO will pick them up. So if you're searching how to do something, you will likely also get a video with that. So that is the positive of that, the evergreen factor. So if for anyone out there, I would obviously suggest you do a hybrid, because you get to do the both of, I can't speak. Both, you get the best of both. So a hybrid is what I do. I create YouTube videos that are long form, are evergreen, and hopefully when people search them, they do show up in the Google search as well. And then I also focus on mainly Reels on Instagram. I've started out putting out YouTube Shorts as well. But that's just something that I've been doing for the last month. So it's still at an experimentation phase to see what my YouTube audience kind of respond to.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, kind of continuing this topic of Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, how can we use it? Because we have a very limited amount of time. So what can we show during this? Because I'm not sure how much time does YouTube Shorts or Reels give you?
So I think it's 60 seconds. Both of them give you 60 seconds, which obviously difficult to kind of fit much into. But I think, like with the right kind of wording, that's just the kind of time you're given. And I think 60 seconds it's been good enough for me. I found it quite interesting you just kind of give like small tips here and there, which kind of takes, I guess, a long form video, breaks it up into lots and lots of little ones. So there's definitely advantages to both. I think experimenting is definitely the way forward. Like, it's taken me a while on Instagram to figure out what kind of content I like to do there. I think I finally found like something that works for me, which is just like quick tips. Usually I'll give like a tip of the day or something like that. But, again, like some people, there's a whole channel just doing desk setups, which is quite a cool idea. And that's doing really well. It's actually just one desk and they've managed to create quite a lot of content from this one desk. So it's amazing to see what works and what doesn't work for the algorithm.
I understand. Yeah. So, I mean, in a way, we can say that all those short forms it's kind of similar to Twitter. You have a tight limit and you have a lot to say. So you have to kind of figure how to fit it in those seconds. And because, okay, so I am this developer. I created like a lot of articles. I recorded a few videos. What should I do with this that it will reach my communities, all the people who I would love to see it? Or
so the way I would do it is I'll just go through my own, I guess, personal experience. So growing my own YouTube channel, at the beginning, I didn't have any followers at all. I was just on Twitter mainly. And my goal was actually just to help people. It was the beginning of the pandemic. I would just go up and follow myself. And, like, I'm not very good at doing nothing. So in the end, I ended up going on Twitter and seeing lots of people who wanted to reskill, wanted to start becoming software developers. So I ended up reaching out and then just chatting and then joined this community. I found a couple of hashtags that I liked. One was hashtag dev community and hashtag 100 days of code, which is people, just starting out on their code journey. And would just help out. Like, people would just be like, how do I do this? And be like, oh, try this. And before you knew it, I had all these kind of online friends and an online community. And then someone suggested that I show them how to do something over video. So that was the first reason why I kind of put something out on YouTube in the first place. And by that time, I already had a Twitter following. So I think having that Twitter following really did help grow my channel in the early stages, because every time I would do something, be like, hey guys, I just made this video, check it out. And, it wasn't kind of spammy. It was kind of genuine. I was addressing problems that people wanted. And that was kind of the start. So that is what I did at the beginning. And I truly attribute that to the growth of my YouTube channel at the beginning. Now it's kind of got a life of its own. Now I'm also posting or cross-promoting stuff on Instagram and YouTube Reels and Twitter. So those are my main ones that I cross-promote on. And it's usually the same thing. So it will be all around the video that I have that week. But of course, kind of catered more towards that platform. So I've either made a reel from it or I've written tweets from it and so on. But it's not like completely reinventing the wheel each time with the content. The main content is the video. And then I spin off little pieces of content. Otherwise, it would just be way too much for one person, I think, to be able to manage. Like, I'm not a big company. It's just me creating this at the end of the day.
Oh, I totally agree that managing all the social media accounts can be difficult. I mean, even promoting Code and Coffee Show, every time I see, I mean, it's quite simple, right? Just find an amazing guest, record a video, send a few tweets, something on LinkedIn. How hard can it be? And together with all the rest, with all the lives happening, it turns out that all of it takes time. But I really like the one thing that you said here about being genuine on Twitter, because I totally agree that because at some point we could see that there were many courses or articles about how to grow your Twitter quickly. No, it doesn't work like this. It's really all about human connections. And when you are authentic with it, when you really help people and you are committed to it, because this is the most important part. You have to do it not for a week, not for a month, but for a year at least. And when you will be growing like organically without any extra help, it will work. It will work, and at some point it will, as you said, it will start living on its own. And it's a really nice thing. And when I last looked, your Twitter account has like how many thousand followers? It's really huge.
It's okay. It's like 83,000 on Twitter. So I'd like to get larger, but I mean, I'm happy with that number too.
And
I think channels like the thing that I think I kind of focus on the most at the moment, but that's not saying that I don't go on Twitter. I think I go on Twitter every day.
And did you try it out with Mastodon? Like every developer at some point?
Mastodon? No, I don't have it. No. No.
Really?
Is that?
Yeah, I mean, this was this Twitter. I mean, it is this Twitter alternative that everyone for a moment used as a protest against Elon. Now only part of people are using it. I mean, it got better. It got better since the beginning, but for some reason, I'm also still sticking with Twitter. I think that I just got so familiar with it, and it has nice tooling all around. So Mastodon is a bit behind in this, but maybe at some point, and probably when I will have I don't know, a social media manager that will help me or something, because like I mentioned, working on this all the time, it's difficult. But I mentioned kind of a social media manager, but like since last year, we are talking about one thing that can help us create content with almost click of the button: AI. And I would say that this is, I saw many opinions about this. And so first of all, what's your opinion about AI creating content for you?
So I'm always a big embracer of change. Again, like I know it's quite difficult actually to comment, because I understand why so many artists are very upset, especially the AI generation. Essentially, all these tools are doing is like basically scraping the internet, getting all the art, and then like making its own art from it. So in a way, it is kind of plagiarism in a way. Like you're literally getting one thing and then like just combining lots of things, and those people aren't getting any attribution to it, because as we know, if you change something by 10%, it's essentially getting rid of, like you're essentially overriding the copyright to that. It's essentially a new item. So I understand the frustration. I understand why they're really upset. This is their hard work, but also I do unfortunately think that that is the future, and we just have to embrace the change. So I don't want to, I don't want to, luckily I don't have to deal with this problem, right? Because I do feel for the artists, but I do understand that this is the future. So I'm just grateful I don't have to deal with this problem, because I understand both sides and it's horrible. But like I said, unfortunately it is the future. And if we don't embrace the change, you're just going to get left behind. So as content creators, we have to learn to work with this and not against it. And how do you embrace it? I think, yeah, sure. To be honest, I don't use that much AI for my content creation. I think I tried to use it for a thumbnail, but I didn't like it. And then essentially, maybe I'm too much of a perfectionist. Like I try to get it to write because you can get AI now to write like an intro script for you on YouTube, but it's never going to be personal. It's never going to be personalized. Like, it'll just give you a generic one that sure has a great hook. So like I have asked it to do this for me before, obviously hated it, but did actually think it made some good structural points, like lead with a question, like have you ever have you ever had this problem where that's quite good? And I was like, oh, thanks, AI. That's a good advice tool. But at the moment, maybe in the future, maybe if we can like download our brains, then it would be able to come up with like a personalized, perfect script. But I just don't see I can't see how it can give it the human genuine factor that we were talking about earlier as of now. So same goes for artists, right? Like if you're asked to make a mural that depicts something, the feel of a room, like you can't really get the AI to do that either. So the AI, I think, is just for now anyway, just taking away all the boring, mundane jobs, giving you structure to an essay, giving you like ideas as to how to structure stuff, and basically like doing what we do anyway, right? Like kind of doing research. This way, with AI, you can do research a lot better to truly produce something incredible. So I always say, like, when the Industrial Revolution came along, right? And like everyone's like, oh, they took our jobs, these machines, to all the people that were literally weaving the blankets and all the cloth. But that just literally created a whole new industry, which is the fashion industry. It's now a huge, massive industry and created jobs for so many people. So just think about what else is. I don't think the future should be scary. Of course, it can be scary, but it can also bring so much opportunity. So I guess I'm an optimist, because if I was negative, then that'd be pretty depressing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I understand that AI can be scary, because especially the jump we saw from it was like 2 days ago when they announced the new engine, and it really feels more human. But and I totally agree that AI is great for getting rid of those boring things. For example, in my case, I'm using AI to rewrite tweets, because when I announce that the event is coming, I have to write about it 2 or 3 times before the event itself. And at first, I was just trying to figure out how to write 3 different tweets, because I don't know, the Twitter doesn't like duplicate content. But I am not a writer, that's first thing, and it's boring, and I hate it, and writing isn't my thing. So I just started to write 1 tweet, and I just use in this tool, Typefully, there is this Vesper AI, and it can just change the tweet. So I'm just preparing myself 5 or 6 versions, so I don't have duplicate content, and it's doing. And the initial tweet is always mine. It's personal. Also, every time when I got this changed version, of course I also updated it, because this is the thing, that AI isn't personal. It misses many things. So I can make it a bit better, at least in my opinion. On the other hand, I know that AI has access to much more information, so probably it was a bit more right than me, but still, I feel that at least I have the control. But when I tried, for example, to because I know that many people are using AI for ideas, for articles and stuff like this. In my case, it never worked. I think that it's because AI will be great for. Because again, it's not creating stuff. It's kind of using what it already has in its library. So it won't create something fully new. Someone had to create something like this before. So the ideas that it's showing are mostly already done, created by someone. Maybe changed a bit, but I always thought that those ideas given by ChatGPT were, at least for me, they were quite poor. But on the other hand, I am the person who just published an article about how to buy a new bicycle using end-to-end testing. Yeah, because there was a problem with the stock amount, and I had to constantly test the website. So I use end-to-end testing. I use Playwright, and I'm sure that no one no AI would thought of something like this, because it's weird. It's related to my experience, and until I will be able to like digitize my brain, which probably will be possible, I think, near the end of our lives. Yeah, I really think so. And I kind of wonder how much will my brain data will weigh. Will it be gigabytes, petabytes? Who knows? It's really fascinating. Yeah, but still, I really don't think that AI will take over all of our jobs. We will be able to concentrate on more interesting things, on trying to find interesting approaches, how to make it more personal, and the AI will just, I don't know, correct our grammatical mistakes, or rephrase something, or I don't know, create a SEO description. But I'm kind of I'm not worrying. I know that when it comes to content creation, I think that BuzzFeed kind of moved to AI. Like, AI is generating most of the articles for BuzzFeed right now. Yeah, it is.
Really?
But yes, but I think that this means BuzzFeed. Yeah, BuzzFeed. But I think that it's not an example that AI will take our jobs. It's an example of how poor content BuzzFeed creates.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah, right. Just trying to hit all the SEO.
Exactly.
To get them
exactly.
Charge them more adverts, probably.
Exactly. The thing that kind of worries me, the thing when all of the content creators or all of the developers will lose when it comes to fighting with AI, it's speed, because creating an article for us takes hours, sometimes days. It depends on many things. And yeah, they will be better quality and everything, but I know that many people who don't fully understand what we are doing will see, yeah, but this Ania just created, I don't know, 5 videos during the year, and this guy has like 100, all generated by AI, but who cares? So yeah, this is the thing. Exactly. Quality versus quantity. And I know that for some people, quantity might be much more important. Let's look at BuzzFeed again. So, yeah, but I mean, this is like the only thing that kind of worries me in some on some occasions, in some, but yeah, in general, I feel safe. I mean, at least in my case, because I moved from being a developer to being a DevRel, so I know that with Copilot and everything, developers are a bit more threatened. But I know that when it comes to, I don't know, talking with people, like all those relations and everything, this is a thing where AI isn't that good. And so
yeah,
I feel safe.
Yeah. At the moment, I can't imagine how it can be, right? I think the human touch. I think I even asked an AI, like, what are some AI-proof jobs? And I can't remember what it told me. One of them that stuck out though was an internet was like your history scraper, which I don't know why AI wouldn't be able to do that, but it's someone who I guess goes and like gets rid of any trace of you on the internet. That was kind of a cool job. I don't know how that's AI proof. I really didn't read this very properly. Because AI could do that, right? You just go delete me from the internet and go log into platforms.
Yeah, right? It could, but maybe, and this is a very nice term I just read from Cassidy Williams, that AI hallucination. So the moment where AI is just obviously lying because it doesn't have, it doesn't know about what it is saying. AI hallucinations. So in short, if you would say, the good news is that we are still kind of safe when it comes to AI. It can only help us rather than kick us out of our jobs, and like preparing this extra content will be just easier for us rather than. I mean, we don't have to worry that AI will take our job even on the content create market, which is really good. And also, the thing that I wanted to ask, because we already touched on few parts of this about YouTube and everything, but if someone starts creating their content, where should they keep it? We already discussed YouTube. You mentioned the Dev too. But those are kind of third-party platforms that from day to day can totally change politics. So maybe it's better to self-host everything. What is your take on this?
Actually, that's a really interesting question. At the moment, I'm diversifying. So not hosting myself, but just using various platforms so that if one goes down or gets bought out or something, they decide to switch it off, then I have two alternatives. So it's between YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So those I diversified. Obviously, the self-hosting is an interesting one, and it's one I really didn't think about before. I know there's some content creators, and I'm talking in the like millions of followers, have done that. I think mainly because they weren't happy with like YouTube's terms or something, so they went out by themselves. But then also started like charging for access to that platform, which obviously a lot of people did pay because now they're like millionaires. But that's a really interesting question, and I guess one that maybe as content creators we should kind of think about more seriously, because you never know the future, right? You kind of have to, if that goes down and that is your livelihood, then you're in a pretty a position that I guess no one would really be jealous of, right? How do you get your income? What are your thoughts about this? I would love to know.
I'm also all about trying to diversify as much as possible. And in the end, I'm also trying to at least build a database of of emails through creating a newsletter or something like this. Because let's be honest, it's all in a way, it's all kind of about gathering this community and having a way to contact them. And we already saw how social media changed all over the years. At first, everyone switched to Facebook because Facebook was so generous. Facebook was the best. And right now we have to pay for Facebook ads for our content to be seen. So it's not that great. Twitter also was very generous, was great. And right now, with the new management especially, it all became, again, a bit more difficult. And it happened kind of all of a sudden. And we don't have, in both cases, we don't have control. We don't have access to those people who follows us in a direct way. So in the end, it turns out that newsletters are always a thing to at least have your community, or having some. I mean, because even having Discord, even having Slack, you still have to depend on either Discord or Slack. So at some point, those people might, at least access to them can just disappear. So in this terms, I would say that whenever possible, have as direct access to the people as possible. And when it comes to the content itself, it's always worth to have a copy of everything, because if for some reason YouTube will collapse, I don't think it will, but why not? It's always better to have all the videos stored on your hard drive and with backups, to have a possibility to, I don't know, upload them somewhere. So I would say when it comes to all the things that we create, it's better to be a bit, let's use the term paranoid, and think about what the worst can happen, because we really put a lot of time into writing or filming or whatever our things. So it would be really sad to see that it's just gone. And with digital things, it's really easy to just got erased if we didn't took care of it. I mean, there were many stories when someone just made the mistakes and some things were gone. That's it.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm. But I mean, yeah. And while when it comes to because it's totally different when we are talking about like written content like blogs, because they are very easy to self-host. It's just, I don't know, markdown files, a small database, having a WordPress blog, whatever. It can take like a few minutes. But self-hosting a video platform, this is complicated. Here it's more about just having a backup and hoping that we'll never have to use it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you raised a good point. Like sometimes if a platform is too good to be true and you're like, oh, they're so generous. Oh, let's use this. There's usually a reason why, right? You're probably on some premium thing, you don't even realize it. And then they're going to start being like, oh, by the way, we've introduced this charge, which is fair enough. It's a company, but just being a little bit more like, I guess, like you said, paranoid about it is probably the good.
True. Yeah. Even lately, we saw the whole history of OpenAI that was created for the humankind and everything, and suddenly it became not for humankind but for Microsoft. And yeah, it happened all of a sudden, and I really think that when it comes to our work that we create, we always have to be. I mean, it's all up to us. Do we want our content to be not only evergreen but be alive for the whole for the whole life, or not? Because, like I said, those companies, they really don't care about this, because we are. I mean, from their perspective, we don't matter as much to them, and for us, it's much more important. So yeah, diversifying, being a bit more paranoid, having backups, everything. Yeah, this is.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. Obviously, you know, the TikTok wave that came in, new platform. Some people got on it. I didn't, because I was like, oh, not another platform. But now I'm kind of keeping my eye a bit more open and really looking at what are the things that you should look out for when kind of considering a new platform?
This is also a very good question, and in my case, at least, it was always about. I mean, from my perspective, it's also a bit different, because I don't have to. I would say my main role is about DevRailing, not about content creation, which is kind of good, because if I am not on top of everything, nothing horrible happens. But if someone's role is content creation, and it's like the viable part of their, for example, income, or the way how they create their brand, then I think it's all about time. It's all about time. Do we have time, and do we understand the platform? Because you mentioned TikTok, and I think that Snapchat and TikTok were the first platforms when I felt, okay, I am too old for this. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand this. So
I didn't get on the TikTok craze either. But I do think it's worth like keeping an eye out on the new platforms, because even if it's just repurposing what you have already, like you said, like diversifying, putting stuff you've already made on there, obviously that is in itself expensive in terms of your time. So really thinking about which ones is even worth doing that for. Because honestly, there's a lot like springing up all the time, especially ones, especially e-learning ones, I feel. So doing the research, seeing which one's got the most funding so far, seeing who's backing it, are tips that I would give into when kind of exploring whether to kind of put your stuff on a new streaming platform or video platform or wherever.
Yeah, yeah. On the other hand, when we discuss about all those shorts like TikTok, like Instagram stories, the thing that I have also a problem is the fact that, as I mentioned before, I like to back up everything because I believe that we create content that should be alive, and all those Instagram stories are created just to be gone in some time and gone and forgotten. And this is the approach for me that I don't understand. Just this is something I can't understand. I can't get through because I don't understand why create content that will be gone. It's like against the way we should create content, because we should create content to build something, to give people access to it so they can learn from it, understand it, whatever. And Instagram story is like gone after, I don't know, 48 hours or something like this, and it's weird.
Yeah.
So,
Same as Snapchat.
oh yeah. So this is, like I said, this is something. But like I mentioned, I'm just getting old, so old and grumpy. So yeah, I.
Never too old for anything.
Oh, I know. My dad, being more than 60 years old, start playing around with 3D printers, and he's
No, that's cool.
he knows much better about it than me. I mean, I know they exist, and that's it. And tell me, and what can people do to become better with creating content, and how to? Mhm.
Yes, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No. Just it. I started thinking, but no.
I get asked this question quite a lot, and I honestly always say, look, when I first started making content, I filmed it with my iPhone, like no microphone, no fancy camera, because it was just about the content itself. I really wanted to teach people how to make Tetris in JavaScript, or specifically teach people JavaScript by making Tetris. So the content was there, and I think unless obviously your thing is, fancy cameras, then that's what your thing is, and then maybe don't do that. But otherwise, I really think you just don't overthink it. Just go out, create. Your creativity will speak through itself, and speak for itself, and consistency. There's so many people, they make like 2 or 3 videos, it doesn't go viral, and they give up. Right? You're probably in it for the wrong reasons then, if you're just doing it to go viral. Like, it's, if you really genuinely want to, express what you've made, want to share it with everyone, that's like what an artist does, right? Rather than someone who's just in it for the I guess, for the follows for the wrong reasons and so on. I think it's very transparent. Like, as humans, I think we pick up a lot more than we realize.
Yeah, that kind of, I agree that thanks to consistency and just it's like learning by doing. I mean, okay, we have a lot of resources over YouTube, for example, because I know and I see my YouTube history about I don't know how to set up lighting better. I never thought that I will be looking at things like this. Because when you start, it very often just only about the content, and then you realize, especially when you look at others how they are doing their videos, that it would be also nice to make your videos also a bit more fancy or nice looking or everything. So it also takes time. But I can imagine that one of the things that can help us are all the reactions and comments. Very many of them can be very nice, because it's always nice to hear you did a great job, you wrote an interesting article. But among them we will also find many quite disturbing, horrible, and just not nice. And how can we deal with them? Because I know it's not easy, especially at the beginning, because at some point you just have this thick skin and think, I don't care. But at the beginning, it can hurt.
Of course. And I've definitely had my fair share of like not very nice comments, but I always, go back to the fact that this person's obviously just not a very happy person. They're obviously having like a bad day. It's not really about you. Like if they don't like your content, I'm like, why are they watching it? Like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, why are you watching that? Go watch the million other things rather than sitting here commenting on my video. So I just I used to not delete them. I used to be like, should I delete this? Should I not? But it's my channel. If I think something's like offensive for no reason, then I will delete it now. So I don't think it should exist, kind of thing, Like if it's someone genuinely just being like mean and not really having a reason. Not if it's someone like coming with constructive feedback, then I'll always keep that.
Mm-hmm. So in short, always first, it's worth to like rethink if this opinion is at least partially true. Maybe we can do something better, but those mean comments they should go out, and we just should not care about them.
Yeah, unless it's constructive feedback, then I obviously appreciate it, and everyone should appreciate that because it helps you get better. But that's the differentiator between constructive feedback and someone just having a bad day and deciding to like pick on you for, I don't know, for you said a word weird or you look weird or like something like that. Like, you know what I mean? So differentiating those two things is the first step. And doing the ones that are just horrible nonsense.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, I really can imagine that this can be sometimes this let's call it the dark side of becoming a more popular content creator. But still, for many developers who just create their extra content kind of as a hobby. I mean, for example, this Code and Coffee Show, for me, it's more of a hobby project because I can meet new people, I can learn a lot from them, and that's it. So, but and I can understand that for those people, having such horrible comments can be really can be a total bummer. And okay, so let me think. Did I wanted to ask for something else? No, I don't think so. I think we covered really a lot of ground. We talked a lot about why every developer should give it a try and should create something, because there are so many new ways. The only thing I could ask you, like at the end, the best rule, the best tip you could give to someone who is at this moment, I don't know, probably no one wants to read me, no one wants to listen to me. Now I probably won't do it. So how would you convince that person to give it a try?
Yeah, well, I would say don't think about anyone else. Just think about what you're getting from it, right? You're getting to practice your writing, either your writing, your technical speak. You're going to practice many other skills. If it's video creation, maybe you're learning how to use Premiere Pro. Maybe you're learning about lighting. Think of all these other skills that you're gaining, rather what you can get out of it, and rather than what other people are. What you're worried about other people seeing and stuff, because at the end of the day, this is to help you get better, help you get better skills, and help elevate you as a developer out in the world. So that's my way of thinking.
So like one big sport company would say, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. I really think that Nike should think about, I don't know, creating some IT gear for developers, because it would be perfect. having the just do it, just write your code, just record your video, just write your article. Yeah. I mean, if someone from Nike is listening, yeah, I'm here. I can be, I don't know, ambassador or whatever.
Adidas.
Yeah. So yeah, I really agree that yeah, it's the most difficult part of it is just to give it a try and don't stop after the first article, after the first video, after the first whatever you like to do, because with consistency you can like gain a lot. And I can also even say that from my experience, I saw that at some point all the things that I create constantly, all the newsletters and everything, they were seen by my employers. They saw it, they mentioned it, and this was one of the reasons why I got hired, because thanks to this, they knew that for example, I know some people from for example, from the WordPress community. So, and of course, when you start creating content, it's also a first step towards, I don't know, public speaking. And public speaking is also a great way to like advertise yourself and build a brand. So, so yes. Yeah. So, Ania, thank you so much for sharing everything about content creation. And what can I say? Have a great day and have a great coffee. I mean, probably the fresh one, because the one that is there is cold. Yeah, so you need a fresh. Yeah, so thank you again very much, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.